My girlfriend of 3 years is incredibly high maintenance. After she blocked my number for the 88th time, I completely lost it. Even a simp has his pride. This time, I absolutely refused to be the one to beg for forgiveness. The next day, in our massive lecture hall, my roommate Carter was showing me pictures of some gorgeous Instagram models. I was right in the middle of looking at them when my girlfriend started trembling with indignation. She accused me of not loving her and only being after her looks. That was a total false accusation. I was obviously only after her money. My girlfriend Anna comes from serious wealth. Meanwhile, I'm a first-generation college student from a tiny rural town in Idaho. My tuition is entirely funded by student loans, and my living expenses come from grinding at part-time jobs after class. That particular day, I made a quick $20 taking attendance for someone else in a boring seminar. Once I found out, she blocked me again. Practice makes perfect. After class, I quickly went to wait outside her academic building. She had recently dyed her hair a striking shade of blue, making her stand out in the campus crowd. Seeing me, she let out a cold laugh and made a sarcastic comment about how the busy man finally found time for her. We had been dating for a while, and I knew Anna's temper perfectly. The golden rules were to always take her side and to apologize immediately the second she got upset. As long as I did those two things, Anna was actually very easy to coax. I reached out, grabbed her arm, and told her I was wrong and would never do it again. Sure enough, her expression softened a bit. She pressed me to explain exactly what I did wrong. She never used to ask follow-up questions like that. My brain went into overdrive. I figured she must feel embarrassed that her boyfriend was taking attendance for other people just to make a few measly bucks. I quickly put on a remorseful face and said I should never have embarrassed her by doing odd jobs for spare change. Anna lightly smacked my head to vent her frustration. I did not get mad at all. I just obediently followed behind her. Carter saw the whole thing and sighed. He told me I was way too in love. He said he had to respect my absolute dedication to simping. Was it love? Not at all. I was clearly just in it for the cash. The very first time I saw Anna, I happened to witness her breaking up with someone. The guy she dumped was actually grinning from ear to ear. Later, I found out that Anna's family was loaded and she was incredibly generous. Every single boyfriend she ever had walked away with a massive breakup fee. At the time, I was making a pathetic $12 an hour working at a campus coffee shop. Faced with such a lucrative opportunity, I was instantly intrigued. I started casually crossing paths with her every single day. After a week of making sure she saw my face, I could tell her eyes were lingering on me a bit longer. Sensing the time was right, I waited on her usual route to class. I walked right up to her, pulled up my Snapchat QR code, and asked if we could be friends. Seeing it was me, Anna smirked with a knowing look. She tapped her phone a few times, scanned my code, and walked away without saying a single word, looking completely bored. Worried she might delete me immediately, I purposely waited until that night to accept the request. I sent her an iMessage asking if I could pursue her. Anna replied instantly with a flat no. I refused to give up and asked if she was open to starting as friends and seeing where things went. She said she was not open to that. I kept pushing and asked if we could just be regular friends. This time, she only replied with a single word, no. I stared at that word for a solid 3 seconds. She was pretty arrogant. My competitive spirit flared up instantly. Even if it was not for the money, I was determined to win her over. A second later, Anna sent another message. She said she had an early morning lecture the next day and told me to save her a seat. A Venmo notification popped up for $1,000. The boss was feeling generous. I conveniently forgot all my previous smooth talk and accepted the transfer immediately. I simply replied with a yes. Anna was truly incredibly generous. When she had morning classes, she paid me $1,000 to bring her breakfast. After class, I carried her textbooks back to her luxury apartment building for another $1,000. When her Uber Eats arrived, I brought it up to her door for yet another $1,000. Sometimes I felt like I was not trying to date Anna at all. I was just her highly paid personal assistant. Honestly, I loved the easy money and hoped she would give me more tasks. One day, Anna sent me the name of a restaurant and told me to book a table for 2 for dinner. It was the hottest new spot in downtown Seattle. Since they did not take online reservations, I had to go an hour early just to stand in line. When it was almost time, I texted Anna. She actually invited me inside to eat with her. I thought she was finally showing some appreciation for her loyal assistant. Halfway through the meal, she dropped a bomb. She looked right at me and said she accepted my pursuit. I was completely stunned. What pursuit? Had I even been pursuing her lately? Was I not just her errand boy? Did she not explicitly reject my advances before? Seeing my delayed reaction, Anna got annoyed. She put down her fork and locked her sharp gaze on my face, refusing to miss a single micro-expression. She demanded to know why I looked so unhappy about her accepting me. I immediately forced a huge smile and denied it. I told her I was just so thrilled that my brain short-circuited for a second. Even though I had no idea what was going through her head, I knew I had accomplished my goal. I had successfully secured the bag. Once we made things official, Anna's personality turned out to be as volatile as a firecracker. She would explode over anything. On Valentine's Day, she demanded to know why I did not text her exactly at midnight. I only saw her angry message the next morning. By the time I tried to reply, she had already blocked my number. That was the first time Anna blocked me. I used to think she was just a girl with a strong personality, but I never expected her to be this dramatic. Since she only blocked me on iMessage, I was still able to send her regular SMS texts. After a lot of sweet talking and begging, she finally replied. She was still obsessing over my late response. She complained that other couples send perfectly timed midnight paragraphs and Venmo gifts, and she felt neglected. The princess loved her grand romantic gestures, though I never heard her exes mention this specific habit. I had to make up a lame excuse. I told her I was waiting for her to text me first because love needs to be a two-way street, and I was afraid of bothering her if the feelings were one-sided. It was a stupid excuse, but it worked, and she unblocked me. The second time she blocked me was on her birthday. She was furious. She yelled at me, asking why she only got a Venmo transfer and no actual physical gift. She accused me of not caring about her at all. I was internally screaming. The last time she got mad because I missed the midnight text and the money transfer. This time I did all of that perfectly, and she still found a reason to be mad. Despite my internal frustration, I played the role of the humble boyfriend. I told her I was a broke college student who valued every penny, so sending her $500 was the ultimate proof of my devotion. The third time she blocked me, she demanded to know who the girl standing next to me was and why we were so close. I wondered why she felt the need to micromanage every single person I spoke to. This money was getting harder and harder to earn. I explained that she was just a senior for my major, Chloe, and we only chatted for a second because of a campus event. I apologized profusely and promised it would never happen again. The fourth time, she was mad that I did not come to her apartment for dinner. She asked if the food was bad or if I was just sick of looking at her face. I apologized again and promised I would never skip dinner with her, even if it was Carter's birthday. The fifth time, she caught a cold and complained that I never visited her and only told her to drink warm water. I had to remind her that I literally could not get past the security desk at her sorority house. The sixth time, someone confessed their love to her, and she was furious that I did not get jealous. She asked if I had stopped liking her. I quickly reassured her that I just did not want to annoy her with my jealousy. In reality, the only thing I truly loved was her bank account. Anna blocked me time and time again, but she was always easy to win back. She usually unblocked me by the end of the day. For her birthday this year, she sent me $5,000 on Cash App with a note telling me to buy her a nice gift. 2 years ago, she got mad because I only sent money and no gift. Last year, I spent a whole month knitting her a scarf, but I never saw her wear it once. I was not going to do something that's stupid again. I went straight to the high-end designer district downtown and picked out a beautiful necklace. On her birthday, I handed her the box. Once she saw what was inside, she immediately took off her current necklace and put mine on. It was obvious she loved it, even though she stubbornly claimed it was just okay. My personal philosophy was that as long as the princess was not causing drama, whatever she said was fine. However, I clearly underestimated her flair for the dramatic. We were at a restaurant, and she suddenly told the waiter to make everything extra spicy. I reminded her that she could not handle spicy food. The princess calmly replied that she wanted to change things up occasionally. When the food arrived, I served her a piece of spicy jalapeno chicken. I told her the place was famous for it, and I would have brought her here sooner if she liked heat. Anna took a bite. I asked how it was, and she nodded, claiming it was delicious. Yet every time I turned my head to grab more food, she would desperately chug her ice water. The table was tiny, so it was impossible for me not to notice. I loved spicy food, and she preferred mild dishes. We always used to just order separate meals. I could not understand why she was torturing herself just to match my tastes. I started overthinking her recent behavior. She wanted relationship milestones, grand gestures, and jealousy. Was she actually falling for me? Just as I was wondering if she really cared, a handsome older guy suddenly walked into the restaurant. He was holding a birthday cake and yelled out a cheerful happy birthday. He called her his precious little baby. My hand froze midair with my fork. For the past 2 years, Anna and I had always called each other by our first names. We never used pet names like that. The handsome guy looked incredibly surprised to see me sitting next to Anna. His eyes darted back and forth, looking like he had a million things to say. After a few seconds of awkward silence, he set the cake on the table, told us to enjoy our meal and pretend he was never there, and quickly walked out. I stared at Anna. She did not offer a single word of explanation. She just kept eating her mild duck dish. I felt like a total idiot for thinking she was actually falling for me. A wave of anger washed over me. I snatched the last 2 pieces of duck from the plate, ignored her completely, and focused on my food while silently cursing her for being a player. That night, Anna parked her car at the grocery store below her building. Her family had bought her a luxury condo right next to campus. I usually stayed over on the weekends. I asked if she needed to buy anything. Her dad usually hired a cleaning service to stock the household essentials, so I only ever needed to buy her personal items. Anna hated running errands, but I was always happy to do it for the cash. I opened the car door, waiting for her orders. Anna watched me and jokingly asked if I was going to buy her personal items since she ran out. My hand froze on the door handle, but thinking about the money gave me courage. However, Anna stepped out of the car before me and told me to just wait there. This was the first time she had not ordered me around. I wondered if she was getting cheap and did not want to pay me for the errand anymore. When she got back, I decided to test the waters. I asked if she liked her birthday gift. Anna glanced at me. I guess she understood my hint, because a second later, she opened Venmo. I smiled, waiting to see the transfer amount. Suddenly, her phone rang. She answered it, and I heard a male voice on the other end. It was the handsome guy from the restaurant. He called her baby again and reminded her not to forget the things he asked her buy, adding that he was waiting for her at home. My fingers went numb. The voice sounded exactly like the guy with the cake. Was he waiting at her condo? Did she go to the store just to buy things for him? I realized I was not the only guy with a key to her place. Anna probably noticed I was listening, so she just said she would be right there and hung up. Her expression was completely blank. She did not offer a single excuse. She was always like this. Even when she was clearly in the wrong, she never bothered to explain herself. I always knew this about her, but right now, all I cared about was my money. Where was my Venmo transfer? She hung up the phone and showed zero self-awareness. I could not hold back and asked if she was forgetting something. She acted like she just remembered and told me it was a bit inconvenient tonight, so she would just drop me off at my dorm. I knew exactly why it was inconvenient. It was obviously because of the handsome guy waiting in her apartment. Back at the dorm, I vented to my roommate Carter. His expression shifted from shock to anger. He asked if Anna really ditched her own boyfriend to spend the night with some random handsome guy. I nodded. He asked if I was mad. Honestly, despite my complaining, I did not actually think Anna was a cheater. Her phone passcode was my birthday, and she always handed it over if I asked. She never tried to hide anything, but her absolute refusal to communicate was incredibly frustrating. I was definitely a little annoyed. Even a simp has his pride. Seeing my frustration, Carter patted his chest and promised to help me get back at her. The next afternoon, my major and Anna's major shared a massive lecture. As soon as Anna sat down next to me, Carter leaned over and shoved his phone in my face. He invited me to his birthday frat party that weekend and asked what I thought of the models he invited. The screen showed several gorgeous girls in revealing outfits. They were all stunning. I wanted to keep looking, but Anna grabbed my head and forced me to face her. Her voice was laced with anger as she reminded me that I had a girlfriend and was not allowed to look at things like that. She shot Carter a warning glare. Carter was not intimidated at all and fired back, saying his party was strictly for the boys and no girlfriends were allowed. The tension was thick, but luckily the professor walked in. My phone buzzed at my desk. I checked it and saw a text from Anna forbidding me from going, reminding me of a promise I made. I had no idea why she remembered such trivial details. I tried to play dumb and asked when I ever promised that. She immediately sent a screenshot from 2 years ago. I cannot believe she dug up a chat log from that long ago. I surrendered and sent a smiley face, promising I would keep my word. Her expression finally relaxed. She did not see the message I sent Carter right after, agreeing to go to his party. That night, I got completely wasted. I posted a video of the birthday party on my Facebook story and forgot to hide it from Anna. My caption thanked the birthday boy for bringing all the beautiful girls. The next morning, when I sobered up and tried to text Anna, I found out I was blocked again. This was the 89th time she had blocked me. I was used to it by now, but this time she blocked me on absolutely every platform. Since she refused to see me, I had to resort to my usual tactic of waiting at her favorite spots on campus. When she saw me, Anna did not even blink. She walked right past me. I quickly grabbed her arm and apologized, promising I would never do it again. She ignored me and tried to pry my fingers off her arm. I panicked and just pulled her into a hug. I told her that couples need to communicate when they fight and that giving me the silent treatment would lead to a breakup. Surprisingly, Anna actually stopped struggling. She asked if I want to break up. I shook my head no. She demanded to know exactly what I did wrong. I admitted I was wrong for making a promise and breaking it. She asked what I would do if I messed up again. I froze, not knowing how to answer. Anna leaned in and whispered in my ear. She asked me to promise that from now on, I would tell her exactly where I was, what I was doing, and what I was thinking at all times. I thought to myself that there was no way I would agree to that, as it would mean zero privacy. I planned to reject her firmly. Instead, I nodded and agreed completely. When Carter found out I caved again, he was incredibly disappointed in me. He thought my problem was that I just did not know enough girls, which was why I put Anna on such a pedestal. He dragged me to watch his drama club rehearse for the upcoming University Arts Festival. The play was a weird modern twist on Sleeping Beauty, where an elf prince angers the gods, falls into a deep sleep, and is awakened by a princess with true love's kiss. The rehearsals were actually pretty entertaining, so I started hanging out there often. On the day of the festival, I went backstage to support Carter. Unexpectedly, the guy playing the god character got terrible food poisoning and could not go on stage. I was drafted as an emergency understudy. It was a thrilling new experience, and I excitedly texted Anna. I asked if she was coming to the festival because I was going to be on stage playing the god. Anna replied instantly, asking if she could play the princess. I reminded her that the princess had to kiss the elf prince. She did not reply. Instead, she showed up backstage looking furious. She slammed her hands on the wall on either side of my head. She demanded to know why I was playing the elf prince, stating that even a stage kiss counted as cheating. I was so confused and argued that I was playing the god, not the prince. Anna's face went through a series of emotions before she muttered a few curses and stormed off. I tried to call her back, but she ignored me. Terrified that she would cause a scene or that I would ruin Carter's play by being distracted, I secretly swapped roles with the guy playing the elf prince. I searched the backstage area for Anna, but could not find her, so I sent her a text. I told her to stop being mad, that I switched roles to play the elf prince, and that I would see her on stage. The elf prince's main storyline involved interacting with the god and the princess. After being cursed by the god, the prince falls asleep. I went back to the dressing room, and Anna was waiting there. I jogged over to her, feeling a bit proud of myself. I told her I was officially playing the elf prince. Anna glared at me. Her face was dark, and her tone left no room for argument. She forbade me from going on stage for the second half. I had no idea what her problem was this time. She wanted to play the princess, so I switched to the prince. I had already shown my face in the first act. Dropping out now would ruin the entire production. I started getting angry too and lost control of my tone. I asked her to stop being so irrational and impulsive. We stared each other down in silence. I stood my ground. Eventually, Anna softened her voice, trying to coax me. She said she had decided not to play the princess after all, which was why she did not want me to go out there. I was stunned. I told her I had already texted her about the role switch. I opened iMessage and shoved the chat log in her face. Anna glanced at it and let out a bitter laugh. She told me to look closer. I stared at the screen in horror. There was a red exclamation mark next to my message. It never sent. I instinctively tried to explain that the campus network was jammed because of the festival crowd. Right at that moment, Carter yelled for me to get on stage. By the time I processed everything, I was already lying on the prop bed. The princess was reciting her lines, asking if this handsome man was the sleeping elf prince and declaring she would break the curse. I felt warm breath approaching. I opened one eye slightly, hoping to whisper to Chloe, the senior playing the princess, to fake the kiss. Instead, she placed a hand firmly on my shoulder, whispered for me not to move, and planted a kiss right on my forehead. Since we were live, I had no choice but to play along. After the curtain call, I felt a deep sense of dread. I sprinted off to find Anna. When I finally spotted her, a younger guy was standing right in front of her. He confessed that he had liked her for a long time and asked if he could take her out. Anna looked completely bored and annoyed, but the second she saw me approaching, a smirk crept onto her face. She silently mouthed the words, "Watch this," to me, and then pulled the freshman into a tight hug. Unsurprisingly, Anna blocked me again right after. Chloe kissed my forehead, and Anna hugged a freshman. It seemed perfectly fair, but this time I could not bring myself to apologize and beg for forgiveness like I always did. Call me selfish, but I truly believed I did nothing wrong by helping out with the play. Anna, on the other hand, acted purely out of spite just to hurt me, and she succeeded. I was furious. I refused to reach out to her, and she did not come looking for me either. We used to see each other every single day, but now we went a full week without any contact. Carter hated seeing me so depressed, so he dragged me to a college bar near campus to blow off some steam. Fueled by cheap alcohol, all my repressed emotions exploded. I started rambling incoherently, calling Anna a toxic player. I complained about her terrible temper, her constant need for drama, and how she blocked me over nothing. I yelled that if she was not rich, I would have stopped putting up with her a long time ago. I was about to keep ranting when Carter frantically shoved my shoulder, gesturing for me to look behind me. A woman was standing right behind me. Her expression was dark, and her eyes were locked onto me. I was too drunk to realize who it was. I actually reached out and touched her face. She was beautiful, and I wanted to compliment her. I told her I loved her hair color and that it looked just like my girlfriend's. The woman's expression softened slightly. She asked if I had a girlfriend. I nodded and started complaining to this stranger. I told her my girlfriend treated me terribly, only used me as an errand boy, and that I did not want her anymore. I looked at her with hopeful eyes and asked if she would be my girlfriend instead. The woman gritted her teeth and said absolutely not, because she refused to be the other woman. I loved that she had morals. I fumbled for my phone and told her to wait right there while I texted my girlfriend to break up. The woman grabbed my hand and asked if I would still break up with my girlfriend if she started treating me better. Completely oblivious to the trap, I blurted out the honest truth. I said yes, because I never actually liked my girlfriend. I only liked her money. I woke up the next morning with a splitting headache, but the embarrassing memories of the previous night came flooding back. I could not believe I tried to hit on a random stranger at a bar. Carter shook his head and looked at me with pure pity. He explained that the stranger I hit on was actually my own girlfriend, and that I had told her I was going to dump her so I could date her. It sounded like a ridiculous tongue twister. Wait, the stranger was Anna? I was doomed. I remembered telling her I only dated her for the money and never actually liked her. Panicking, I ignored the fact that we were in a Cold War and sprinted to her luxury apartment building. I begged anyone I recognized to tell Anna I was waiting in the lobby. Someone called my name. It was Chloe, the senior from the play. I greeted her politely. Her eyes were practically glowing as she asked if I was free that night. She wanted to buy me dinner to thank me for saving the production. I politely declined, but Chloe was persistent. She looked right at me and confessed that she liked me. Before I could respond, a voice cut in. "Excuse me, but he is my boyfriend." Anna appeared out of nowhere and wrapped her arms around me. The two girls locked eyes, and the air crackled with tension. I was actually thrilled. This was the perfect opportunity to prove my loyalty. I grabbed Anna's hand and looked at Chloe. I apologized and told her I only loved Anna and would never break up with her. Chloe looked heartbroken, but did not push it. She said a quiet goodbye and left. I kept staring in her direction until Anna snapped at me, asking what I was looking at. I quickly shook my head and said I was only looking at her. Anna scoffed. She reminded me that someone recently claimed they never liked her and only wanted her money. It was my mistake, and I had to own up to it. For the first time, I decided to be completely honest with her. I admitted that in the very beginning, I only approached her because of her wealth. But after spending so much time together, I had genuinely fallen in love with her. I begged her to forgive me. Anna did not believe a word of it. Her tone was dripping with sarcasm as she rejected my apology. She accused me of just trying to con her out of more money. She told me she had seen plenty of guys like me, declared that we were officially broken up, and swore she would never spend another dime on me. My genuine confession was met with cold mockery. My heart sank, and I turned around and walked away. As I left, Anna finally broke down and yelled after me, claiming my departure proved I was only ever in it for the cash. I deleted all of Anna's contact info. I went on eBay and sold every single designer gift she had ever given me. I combined that money with all the Venmo transfers she had sent me over the past 3 years. It was a massive amount. I wired the entire sum to my cousin back home. My cousin texted me shortly after, thanking me. She said that thanks to my financial help, more than half of the high school seniors in our rural town were heading to college this year. Most kids in our town dropped out after middle school because their families could not afford high school. I was only able to finish high school because an anonymous donor sponsored me. I never forgot that kindness. 3 years ago, I reached out to my cousin, who worked for the town council, and told her I wanted to sponsor the local kids' college funds. Education was the fairest way out of poverty and their only ticket out of that small town. Someone had built a bridge for me, and I wanted to do the same for others. I did not see Anna again until half a month later. This was the first time since we started dating that she was the one to swallow her pride. She looked completely different. She apologized and begged me to forgive her. I coldly refused, telling her we were broken up and that her presence was bothering me. Anna looked determined and swore she would keep pursuing me until I said yes. I brushed it off, thinking she was just all talk. But the next day after class, she cornered me in the hallway. She held out a Tupperware container and said she had learned how to cook all my favorite dishes. I noticed a Band-Aid on her pinky finger. She did not point out to get sympathy. She just stubbornly insisted I take the food. I told her I did not need it. Anna did not give up. During the mandatory campus track test on Saturday, she showed up again. She offered to run my mile for me. I did not hesitate for a second and handed her my student ID. Running a mile sucked, and I figured it was time she tasted the bitterness of chasing someone. Carter and I finished all our other fitness tests on Sunday. We were so exhausted that we went back to the dorm early to shower. I ended up staying awake until 3 in the morning reading a gripping thriller novel, which caused me to fall asleep in my Monday morning lecture. I was jolted awake by the sound of laughter. The professor was sarcastically asking Anna if she wanted him to bring in a mattress, since she was literally fanning me with a notebook so I could sleep comfortably. The entire lecture hall erupted in laughter. I heard Anna's voice, completely devoid of embarrassment. She politely declined the professor's offer, saying I would be too shy. The professor was furious and kicked her out, banning her from auditing his class ever again. But Anna insisted on waiting until I woke up before leaving. I could not pretend to be asleep anymore. I lifted my head and glared at her. It was entirely her fault I was being humiliated. Otherwise, the professor would have just called on me. She read the annoyance in my eyes and smiled even brighter. I realized she was definitely doing this on purpose to mess with me. On Friday night, I went to a dinner party to celebrate Carter becoming the president of the drama club. Toward the end of the meal, the conversation shifted to dating. When it was my turn, I was about to say I was single, but I noticed Chloe looking at me from my right. Rumor had it that after I rejected her, she had sworn off dating and was still single. I panicked and quickly lied, saying I had a girlfriend. The intense gaze immediately vanished. I let out a sigh of relief, only to lock eyes with a pair of incredibly pitiful eyes. Anna was sitting at the booth right next to ours, staring at me with silent accusation. I could not handle the guilt trip, so I made an excuse to go to the restroom. As I was drying my hands and walking out, I accidentally stumbled upon another one of Anna's confession scenes. This time, she had her back to me. A younger guy was pleading with her, insisting she must have feelings for him because she hugged him that one time. Anna looked deeply regretful about her impulsive decision. She frowned, her face full of irritation. She told him she had already rejected him multiple times and that his harassment was not going to work. She demanded he back off. The freshman noticed me standing there and looked defiant. He argued that her ex-boyfriend chased her relentlessly until she gave in. So why could not he do the same? Anna was not known for her patience, and she had reached her limit with this kid. She coldly stated that I never chased her. It was love at first sight for her. She threatened to have her family's lawyers contact him if he kept spreading rumors. Then she delivered the killing blow. She told him that if he was willing to be the third wheel in our relationship, run our errands, pay for all our dates, and serve as hand and foot, we might consider letting him watch our romance unfold. I had to admit, Anna was a master at destroying people's egos. The kid stormed off in a rage. Anna turned around, saw me, and instantly morphed from an ice queen into a pathetic kicked puppy. She asked me when I got a new girlfriend. She clearly misunderstood what she heard earlier, and I had no intention of correcting her. I told her it was none of her business. She hesitantly asked if it was Chloe. I neither confirmed nor denied it. Instead, I smiled and threw her own words back at her. I asked if she wanted to be the third wheel in our relationship. I repeated her exact conditions. Run our errands, pay for our dates, serve us, and maybe we would let her watch. Anna's tough exterior cracked slightly. I felt a surge of petty satisfaction. I patted her shoulder, told her I was heading back, and said she could text me when she made up her mind. I unblocked her number just to see how far she was willing to go. That very night, she texted me. She said she was willing. I played dumb and asked her to clarify what exactly she was willing to do. She awkwardly typed out that she was willing to run my errands and pay for my things. I agreed and immediately demanded she bring me a double order of dumplings from the campus dining hall the next morning. The next morning, Anna was already waiting outside my dorm. She offered to walk me to class. I did not even look back as I told her absolutely not, reminding her to know her place so my girlfriend would not find out. Carter happily ate the breakfast Anna bought and tried to put in a good word for her. He said Anna had really changed and suggested I give her another chance. Honestly, I was not even mad anymore, but I did not want her to think she could win me back that easily. I wanted to see her work for it. After class, Anna showed up with homemade lunch, and she smartly brought enough for two. This time, I did not reject it. As I was leaving, she stopped me. She pulled 2 VIP tickets out of her pocket for my favorite pop star's upcoming concert. They were impossible to get, and I had never even told her I liked that artist. I glared at Carter. He awkwardly looked away. Great, my own roommate had sold me out. He probably even told her the new girlfriend was fake. But I really wanted those tickets. I reached out and said thanks. Anna did not let go. She blinked innocently and pointed out there were only 2 tickets, and she really wanted to go too. I caved. The seats she got were incredible, right in the front row. During the interactive part of the show, I got caught up in the hype and screamed that the singer was gorgeous. After I lost my voice from cheering, Anna grabbed the back of my neck. Her voice was dripping with jealousy as she reminded me that I used to say she was the most beautiful girl in the world. I tried to brush it off as just sweet talk, but suddenly the crowd erupted in cheers. We were on a massive Jumbotron kiss cam. Thrilled, I raised my hand to wave at the camera, but Anna grabbed my face and kissed me hard, refusing to let me pull away. During the quick crowd interview, she boldly declared into the mic that we were broken up, and I was refusing to make it official again. Unsurprisingly, the pop star jokingly scolded me in front of the entire arena. After the concert, I blocked Anna again. Even though we were not officially back together, we were in a Cold War, or rather a one-sided Cold War on my part. My resentment peaked when I saw her at a restaurant with a handsome older guy who had brought her the birthday cake. I marched over, sat down right next to Anna, and aggressively asked the handsome guy if he minded me crashing their table. He smiled and said not at all. He clearly remembered me, and his eyes darted between Anna and me. Anna looked thrilled and asked if I was finally done being mad. I was absolutely furious, but I refused to show it. I smoothly changed the subject. The waiter brought out a bowl of soup. Anna asked for an extra bowl and spoon for me, then ordered 2 of my favorite dishes. She picked up a spoon, tasted the soup, and then I immediately put my spoon down in protest. The handsome guy noticed the tension. He mentioned that Anna told him I love spicy food, so he had ordered the spiciest jalapeno chicken on the menu for me to try. I gripped the edge of my shirt. Why was he acting so friendly? I sarcastically commented that they seemed very close. Anna paused her eating for a split second and then told me to just eat my food. When the chicken arrived, Anna started acting up again. After I complimented the handsome guy's recommendation, she insisted on trying the incredibly spicy dish. She barely swallowed one bite before she started gasping for water. She called out, "Dad, water." I froze. I laughed nervously in my head, thinking she was just using weird slang. I looked at the handsome guy. He just smiled warmly at me. It hit me like a ton of bricks. The handsome guy was Anna's father. For the rest of the meal, I was just thanking God I had not said anything completely disrespectful. Anna eventually put the pieces together. She chased me out of the restaurant, demanding to know if I had been jealous of her own father this whole time. She looked like she would not let me leave until I admitted it. I refused to give her the satisfaction. I told her not to flatter herself and reminded her she was just my backup plan. Anna did not care. She smirked and said a backup plan that does not try to steal the main spot is a terrible backup plan. I stopped pretending after that. Shortly after, we officially got back together. We had a long talk, apologized for our mistakes, and promised to communicate better. During the conversation, I remembered something and desperately needed an answer. Anna seemed to remember too. Her voice dropped, and she asked what I had called her that night at the bar. I had called her toxic and high maintenance, but I was not about to admit that now. I frantically denied it, claiming I was just drunk and talking nonsense, and that she was the absolute best. Anna clearly did not believe me. She smirked and said we would just have to test that theory. The year we graduated from UW, Anna and I got married. We held the wedding right there in Seattle. We invited a huge crowd, including Carter, who was my best man. The maid of honor was Anna's college roommate. They helped us greet guests at the door. Carter told me that Chloe and some friends had started a tech startup. It was exhausting work, but they were incredibly successful. The freshman who used to obsess over Anna had also found his true love, and they were very happy together. It was nice to hear. Everyone was moving on to bright new futures. After the reception, Anna and I sat on the bed, exhausted, counting the cash gifts from the wedding cards. I shifted my weight, complaining that even counting money was tiring. Anna tossed a stack of bills aside. She told me to stop counting and turn off the lights.